The silence in the new Bellevue condo was purchased. I paid for it with a mortgage, soundproofing, and a view of the bay. My life was perfectly calibrated. Wake up at 6:30, a run, work from home, evenings with code or a series. I valued predictability, until Mr. Garrett was written into it, the neighbor from apartment 4B, elderly, neat, with a polite, sterile smile. We crossed paths at the trash chute, and I noticed the box in his hands, that exact, rare brand of coffee machine I had bought exactly a week prior. Great choice. I nodded. Thanks, he replied. It was recommended. I didn't think much of it. A coincidence. Then I saw him with a bag from Metropolitan Market. Inside, the neck of the same exotic gourmet salt I'd opened last Tuesday poked out. The smile on my face began to freeze. This was broken causality in its pure form. The effects, his purchases, followed my causes with frightening precision. Like an echo on a 7-day delay, I began to watch, and I saw a silent witness to my own life, reflected in a funhouse mirror. From the kitchen window, I watched him park his car in the courtyard. The same model, the same graphite metallic shade as mine, but last year's trim, as if someone had input my data into a simulator with a cheap license. A chill of fear became a constant companion. I decided to conduct an experiment. I ordered a sofa, deliberately choosing a non-standard upholstery color, fumed oak. Through the thin wall that same day, I heard him talking on the phone. His voice, usually quiet, was clear. Yes, the Stockholm model color. Fumed oak, yes, delivery next Friday. As agreed, he repeated my dialogue with the sales manager verbatim, pauses included. I sat on the floor by the wall, goosebumps running down my spine. This wasn't a coincidence, it was a process, assimilation. Then the letter arrived, in my name, but misspelled. Leo Gregory Lowe. Inside, a warranty certificate for the coffee machine and a manual. My coffee machine, bought by me. But the letter arrived now. He wasn't just copying my things, he was intercepting my life at an administrative level, and the system was glitching, sending his digital fingerprints to me. The change in the rules occurred when I realized I was vulnerable not physically, but existentially. Every choice I made now had double the weight. The sneakers I bought appeared on his feet a week later. My new lemongrass-flavored toothpaste, in his pharmacy basket. He was constructing his reality using the traces of mine as a stencil. I bought a mini camera, disguised it in the peephole. The footage showed the most terrifying moment. Every morning, exactly at 6:25, 5 minutes before my alarm, Mr. Garrett would exit his apartment. He wouldn't head for the elevator. He would approach my door, lean in, and press his ear to the wood. He would stand there motionless for 5 to 7 minutes, listening to me wake up, to my bed creak, to me turning on the shower. He was collecting data to precisely calibrate his own day. It was a ritual. I couldn't take it. Meeting him at the mailboxes, trying not to shake, I said, "Mr. Garrett, we need to talk. I know what you're doing. It has to stop." He turned slowly. His face showed no embarrassment, no anger, only a mild, almost professional curiosity. Then he smiled, that same sterile, polite smile. "Oh, Mr. Gregory, I'm simply learning to live correctly, and you," he paused, as if searching for the precise word, "you have proven to be the perfect specimen. Structure, quality, taste. Please, do keep it up." He turned and walked away. His words hung in the air, chilling and final. I called the police. They listened, checked the camera, spoke with him. He showed them receipts, showed everything was bought legally. "An elderly man learning modern life, taking a page from your book," the officer said, shrugging. "Weird, but not criminal. Unless there are direct threats." There were no threats, only this quiet, methodical appropriation of my being. Now I live in the hell of my own choices. Every new book I buy is a sentence. In a week I'll see it tucked under his arm. Every service I subscribe to, I know he'll sign up to. I freeze in front of clothing displays, paralyzed by the thought that in 7 days he'll be wearing that same shirt. I have become a hostage to my own preferences. The fear has shifted. I'm no longer afraid he'll enter my apartment. I'm afraid that one day he will, and I won't be able to tell his things from mine. That our lives will finally weave into a single knot, where he is the flawless, albeit delayed, copy, and I am the original blueprint, now afraid to draw even one new line, because he knows. In the next apartment over, a pencil is already being sharpened to trace it, and in this quiet, polite mimicry lies the complete and absolute annihilation of what makes a life mine. Loneliness in a new city isn't just an absence of people, it's a silence you start filling yourself. With the sound of a coffee maker, podcasts, the creak of floorboards in an old Kensington townhouse, Edith, my neighbor, became a pleasant exception, a pensioner in her 80s, with neat silver hair and eyes the color of a winter sky. She brought over a pie when I moved in. We drank tea in her impeccably clean kitchen, cluttered with porcelain knickknacks. She asked about my work at the clinic, about my life. It was sweet. Until the gifts began, it all started with a conversation about childhood fears. Laughing, I confessed that at 5 years old, I'd run away from a circus performance, terrified of a clown with a huge, unnatural smile. The next day, Edith rang my doorbell. In her wrinkled hands lay a porcelain bell. On it was painted a sad, cracked clown. "Take it, dear," she said, looking at me with tender, maternal sadness. "To look it in the face and conquer your fear. It's only porcelain, after all." The bell was cold and unpleasant to the touch. I thanked her, put it on a shelf, and tried not to look. The unsolvable riddle only flickered at the edge of my mind then. How could a coincidence be so precise? Then came the nightmare, vivid, oppressive. I'm running through a burning house, and the door won't budge. I woke up in a cold sweat, heart pounding. In the morning, stepping out for the mail, I ran into Edith at the gate. In her hands was a doll, old, rag doll, with faded hair and the charred edges of a dress. "Found it in the attic, going through old boxes," she said, holding it out to me. "Looked at it and thought of you right away. Funny, isn't it?" The resemblance. The doll smelled of smoke and dust. I took it, numb. This was no longer a gift, it was a response to a dream only the walls of my bedroom had witnessed. Panic, quiet and serpentine, slithered into my home. I started digging. In the archives of the local paper, I found a short notice from 20 years ago. "Girl, 9, perishes in house fire on such and such street." My address. My heart sank, and 2 days later, Edith knocked again. This time she held a vintage polka dot dress with a full skirt. "Mine, from my youth," she said. "And you, I see, are my size. Wear it in good health." It fit perfectly. That evening, comparing the dress to an old photo from the article, I saw it. The same silhouette, the same polka dots, on the girl who died. Then came the change in the rules. We were having tea, and I was mentally repeating, just to stay sane, "I need to check the locks, I need to check the locks." I didn't say it out loud. Edith, finishing her tea, suddenly remarked softly, "You worry so, Sophia. Your house is safe, all the locks are fine." I froze. Cup in hand, ice moved through my veins. She wasn't just guessing my fears, she was hearing my thoughts, the quiet, internal monologues that never left my skull. I stopped sleeping. Every rustle in the old house sounded like Edith's step, probably standing outside my door listening to me toss and turn. I began to search my place, methodically, madly, behind paintings, under rugs, in power outlets. And I found them, in the living room air vent, fastened with electrical tape blackened with age. 2 homemade devices, wires, transistors, tiny microphones, technology from, it seemed, the 70s. They were hooked directly into the home's electrical wiring. They had been working all these months. The silent witness to my private hell was crude, material, and lethally dangerous. I didn't go to her, didn't scream, didn't accuse. What could I say? Stop reading my thoughts, which you're eavesdropping on through bugs. She knew everything about me, my fears, my dreams, my silent panic mantras. Confrontation was impossible. She held the key to my very brain, stolen through a ventilation grate. I applied for another rental and began quietly packing. The day I took the papers to the agent, I returned to find an old leather suitcase on my doorstep. It was neatly packed, my things, not all of them, but a careful selection. My favorite sweater, that very book from my nightstand, my bathrobe, as if someone had packed a bag for me for a sanatorium. Tied to the suitcase's handle was a note, the same neat, old-fashioned handwriting. "I always knew you wouldn't stay long, Flighty, but you were the most beloved of all my girls. Take care of yourself, Edith." I stood on the threshold, the note in my petrified fingers. Then, not remembering how, I found myself at her door. Rang. Silence. The door was locked. I called the building manager, said I was worried about my neighbor. He came, opened up. The apartment was empty, completely, no furniture. No porcelain trinkets, no traces of life, just the smell of cleaning products and dust. On the living room floor lay a realtor's business card. I called the number. "Yes, apartment 2B is listed," said a disinterested voice. "The owner, Edith Morrison, passed away 6 months ago, the heirs decided to sell, I lowered the phone, 6 months, for 6 months, I'd been drinking tea with a ghost, for 6 months, a being already dead had been giving me bells and charred dolls. Or the realtor was lying, or the heirs were, or the rules of this game have been different from the start. I moved out, I live in a new place now, but sometimes, when I wake up at night from a bad dream, my hand reaches for the phone on its own, to check for a message, or when I catch someone's gaze in a CAF, I freeze, expecting to see familiar eyes the color of a winter sky. I threw out all her gifts, except one, that bell. It sits on my shelf, I don't look at it, but I know it's there, and sometimes, in complete silence, I think I hear a faint, icy tinkle, as if someone is tugging a string in an empty apartment many miles away, or perhaps, very close by. I just haven't found the bugs in the new ventilation yet. In New York, your neighbors are measured not by names, but by sounds. My old walk-up in Williamsburg was my private concert hall. Above, in apartment 6, lived Mr. Stomp. Every step echoed through my ceilings with the creak of a specific floorboard. At 7 in the evening, the drone of a TV, news, always news. At 11, the squeal of a pipe in the bathroom. It was the background noise of my existence, irritating and yet reassuring, until the silence arrived. At first, I took it as a blessing. 2 days of absolute, unfamiliar quiet. No creaks, no hum, no coughing through the wall. On the third day, I realized this wasn't rest, it was a vacuum, anxious, oppressive, a silent witness that something had gone wrong. I caught myself freezing, listening for nothing. It was then, on the first silent evening, that the intercom buzzed, sharp, piercing, then footsteps on the stairs, not heavy, not stomping, light, quick, a delivery person's steps. They climbed to my floor, past my door, 4, and stopped at 6. A knock followed, delivery. A young voice called, a pause, then the rustle of a bag being set down, footsteps retreating downstairs. I stood at my door, ear pressed to the wood, and after exactly 2 minutes, I heard it. The creak of a hinge, the light scrape of a bag being dragged across the floor, the click of a lock. His door had opened, taken the bag, closed. Ice locked my joints. This was an unsolvable riddle. How can a dead man collect his food? The next evening, it repeated, exactly at 6:05 p.m., buzzer, footsteps, knock, courier's departure, pause, and, click, rustle, click. On the third day, I went upstairs. By the door to 6, right on the worn welcome mat, lay 2 bags, a fresh one from today, and yesterday's, now cool, with condensation on the plastic container, both untouched. The food was just rotting on the doorstep. But then who had taken it last night? And where had yesterday's bag been until now? I asked around. The woman from 5 shrugged. Quiet guy, weird, never came out. The guys from 3 said they'd seen him once or twice in a year. Recluse. The informational vacuum around him was as dense as the sonic one. I resorted to a desperate measure. The next evening, at 6:07, I pressed my eye to his keyhole. The angle was tiny, but I saw a strip of hallway floor and the bottom of the bag. I saw the courier's shadow slide across the wall and vanish, and then, after 2 minutes of silence, the bag jerked. It wasn't picked up, it was yanked, sharply, across the floor, deep into the apartment, and out of sight, as if lassoed. And on the floor, where the bag had just been, lay a set of keys, ordinary keys. They'd been there before, I just hadn't noticed. This was broken causality. The effect, the bag's disappearance, happened without a visible cause. No feet, no hands, just a mechanical, soulless tug. And the keys seemed to say, the entrance is open, but you won't dare. I didn't dare. I called the police. With me and the super, they forced the door. The air that rushed out was dry and dusty, smelling of lonely neglect. The apartment was almost empty. An old sofa, 1 chair, a bare mattress in the bedroom, no clothes in the closet, no food in the fridge, clean as a storage unit. In the center of the living room, on the bare wooden floor, lay a smartphone. It was connected to a powerful power bank. The screen was lit. On it was an open food delivery app with active, regular orders, and from the inside doorknob to the spot where the bags usually landed stretched an ordinary clothesline, tied in a complex but intelligible slipknot loop. And on the fridge, held by a lone magnet with a picture of the Brooklyn Bridge, was a note, Experiment 47, question. How many days will an automated system, social indifference, and the fear of violating personal boundaries feed a void before someone truly notices the absence of life. Thank you for your participation in data collection. Special acknowledgement, Daniel from 4, your attentive ear was the best censor. P.S. The keys are real, you could have entered at any time. The police exchanged glances, shrugged, some nutty artist or sociologist, no crime, apartment's clean, they left, the super took the keys, muttering about back rent. I returned to my apartment. The silence from above was now permanent, but it was different, it was conscious, filled with the question of that experiment, and now I can't stop, I've become a silent witness. But by my own will, I noticed the guitar hasn't sounded from apartment 3 for 2 days, that the mail in 5's box hasn't been collected for 3, every evening at 6:05, I freeze, but the intercom only buzzes for the non-existent 6, the system is still running, automatically, soullessly. I catch myself examining my neighbor's doormats, looking for untouched bags, listening for silences that have stretched on too long. The experiment is over. But it planted its virus in me, that question, what if all of us, in our little boxes, are just data sets for someone? A collection of habits and sounds? And what if one day of silence isn't a gift, but the first symptom that the data has stopped updating? That the void is already here, feeding on our indifference, and we don't even notice we've become part of the next, larger experiment called the city.